Hi. So, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you're here too. Um, how was October? How was November treating you? I can't believe we're already like in the middle of November. What the hell? Um, October was a wild ride for me personally. We had those two eclipses. Uh, man, you know, good stuff, but like overwhelming stuff too. So, just trying to take it one day at a time. So, anyway, I hope you're doing well. Tell me everything. Tell me how it's going for you. This time around, I don't think I've ever used this deck on this channel. Um, it was one of the, not first, not it. I got it sooner than I probably should have because that's how I roll. Um, and it's really cool. So it's double sided. It has, you know, kind of the front facing view and the back facing view, which I don't, it's just kind of cool. So this is the vice versa tarot, and this is the woman in total control of herself. And obviously, if you are not a woman, it's still going to apply to you, but it just so happens that, obviously this deck, that's the name of it. But again, I've had this for a couple months too, and it kept kind of calling my name. So I've responded in true manifesting generator form. So without making this intro too long, we'll get into it. Great. So this is a reading for the 6-3 profile. If you don't know what your profile is, there's a link in the description below for you to get your human design body graph. Your profile is going to be one of many things for you to explore, discover, learn about in your human design. This is like part of the reason why I do intros is because I cannot for the life of me remember to repeat something 12 times. It might be because I have an undefined head and ajna. I don't know. So what is funny though is that I think in only 2 of the videos that I've done so far, I have said this little spiel. Usually I have like a little blurb or like some sort of information to share with you about your profile that I found on the internet, because one of my favorite ways of learning is through other people. Like I really don't do well reading a book and knowing what it is, reading comprehension out the window. I don't really know. I've been that way since I was a kid. But I love Reddit because, it's like firsthand accounts from people and their experience and understandings of things. So if you feel comfortable, I would love to hear your understanding of your profile. It can be something cool that you've learned. It could be something that you discovered about yourself. It could be it doesn't even necessarily have to be about your profile. It could just be about something with your human design, your type, or incarnation cross even, or whatever. But I would love to hear from you if you feel comfortable sharing. Not to mention, like other people that read the comments would obviously be able to learn something from you as well. They probably would get something out of your sharing. And, it like kind of gives people, just like I want to say courage, but to share themselves, as soon as the first one goes. So again, if you do feel comfortable doing so, great. I know it's probably like, I don't know. But I would love to hear from you. So we have the companion. Very interesting. Very interesting. We'll read about that in the book after we get your tarot out. And with these cards, since there are images on both sides, I'm going to basically just take the image that shows to us, whatever way it comes out. That's the way that we're going to take it. So we have the Queen of Swords. That's quite the start. We have the World card, getting tangled up in the spider plant. It's rare to see the World card. I don't know why, that's true, I feel. But for whatever reason, I felt the need to say that. We have the Knight of Wands, Ace of Swords, 10 of Swords, and 10 of Cups. Interesting. We have the Moon here, but this is technically the bottom of the deck, which is the Fool card. Love that. King of Swords, 6 of Cups. All right, let me just make sure everything is in view here. Okay. So let's read about this companion card first. I'm sorry if it's hard to see, and these cards are so glossy. Like the glare is out of control, so I apologize. It says, your body, like a cauldron, holds the energy of what you put into it. Are you putting shame, diminishment, or rejection into it? Or acceptance, appreciation, and adoration? Science would have you believe your body is an experiment. Religion would have you believe your body is a sin. A witch would have you believe your body is a marvel, a cauldron of celebration, home to spells of delight, healing, and wonder. Your body is a sacred companion. She or he is the entity that will never leave you during your journey as a human. She is always working on your behalf to restore, heal, and create the balance that allows you to fully participate in this life. She is kind enough to let us know when things aren't working, where we need help, relief, or or assistance. That's interesting that resistance came out, though. That kind of loyalty deserves devotion, not diminishment. Shed the weight of expectations. Trim down the thoughts of too much and not enough. Dance like your hips move mountains. Put some magic of unabashed self-approval in your cauldron and witness how the steam of that self-esteem wafts into the world, passing on permission for the other women to feel the same about their unique shape. A witch understands that liking herself and her body just as it is in a toxic patriarchy is an act of rebellion. Be a rebel. I love that. And of course, this oracle deck is women in total control of herself is what witch stands for. But of course, it's all inclusive here. He, she, they. Obviously take it as it resonates, or how it fits for you. But I do think too, it's just so interesting that that's the message that came through. Like, I do think that, it is mainly women who, well, no, I take that back, because women, like, there's that conditioning for your body to look a certain way in order to be desirable or worthy. And for men, it's interesting. Do we even get into this conversation? But It's crazy that it mentions a patriarchy because both things come from the patriarchy for the most part, right? Like women thinking they have to look a certain way to attract a certain, like type of, I guess, man, right? Or to attract a man in general. And men also, like kind of look towards other men as far as, like their body image. And, it's just what an interesting card to come up. But also, even just remembering too that your body is your temple, regardless of what it looks like. And I know, nowadays there's more conversation around body positivity, right? And accepting yourself as you are and kind of giving yourself this break from endless shame. So it's interesting that that came out. And especially too, like I was kind of even saying at the beginning about how, sharing your perception or sharing your understanding of something can help somebody, for one, understand something about themselves, but for two, even have the courage to also share, right? And not that it's like, your responsibility to do that, but also that's just what happens. So we're off on to an interesting start here, you know? Even just the word companion. Because of course I think to, like, I don't know how you were going with that at first, but I think companion, it's like, you think of sharing your space, your life, your experience with another person, maybe even an animal, like a companion animal. And even, like this reading a little bit. I mean, let's just work ourselves through the reading. And also, too, because most of these cards on here are singular card. There's one person on each one of these cards besides the Ten of Cups. So we start with the Queen of Swords. Swords having to do with our thoughts, ideas, inspiration. I also see swords as being the card or the suit of our ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego, is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we've attached to experiences, to feelings, whether they're ours or not, our story. Meaning, did we come up with that story on our own, or was it said to us or given to us by a guardian, a parent, a sibling, a friend, whatever? And is it true or not, right? Because a lot of times we do kind of take on these stories or these identities that were created somewhere in the past. And as we start healing and we start really looking into ourselves, right? Because we're like, how did I become who I am, right? Like, what makes me who I am? Then, you start discovering these stories that have been there for a long time. And it's like, wait, is that a story that I actually believe? Or is it just something I've been carrying around with me forever? And then it's like, well, shit, like who am I without that story, right? Or who do I want to be without that story, type of thing. So that's why, I see swords as being also the card of ego, because, ego also, it's like it'll make you do certain things. It'll prevent you from doing other things. And that's all coming from the mind, and how your mind is, kind of interpreting those things. Swords are also about truth, but like divine, objective truth. It's about knowledge, learning, intelligence. You get the point. And the Queen of Swords, she's kind of like a no bullshit, got the sword at the ready, right? I mean, anything that is not coming correct is going to be cut out. It's interesting. I just noticed that I don't even think they're looking at us straight on, right? But I think she's actually looking past the camera view, right? Like if we were someone that's taking her picture, it's like she's looking out into the future, which is kind of interesting. Maybe not. Maybe she's just a little cross-eyed. I don't know. But I think it's interesting that that came up though. Because I think it's like always even like scanning the horizon, and just being alert, being aware of things that could possibly come up. We have this side, which is, the back of the throne that she's sitting on. There's these crystals that are lit up. But looking at it from this direction, like this could be something that you are almost kind of seeing within yourself, or because queens are when we embody the energy of the suit ourselves. Like we recognize the energy of the suit ourselves. So this is you getting clear in thought. This could be discovering your own truth, right? And like I said, it's starting to cut out what is no longer true for you, getting clear on what that truth is. It could be putting your intelligence or your knowledge into practice or use in some capacity. Even with this companion card, I know it was talking a lot about, your body being the vessel and, all of those things, but it's also more too about accepting yourself. And I guess it would also depend on where you are in your 6 line process, because that 6 line comes with that 3-tiered process, I guess, for lack of a better word. The first 30 years of your life, the 6 line operates as a 3. So for the first 30 years, you're a 3-3, or 30-ish years up until your Saturn return, which is somewhere between 28 and 30. So for the first 30 years of your life, you're a 3-3, which can be chaotic, like the third line is all about trial and error, making and breaking bonds, life bumping up against you bumping up against life, like just kind of fluttering around to these different experiences. And then for the from 30 until 50-ish, you are what's called on the roof, which is where you start unpacking those experiences. What was true for you? What was true in those experiences? Right? It's a lot of sifting through a lot of ego, really, whether it was your ego or somebody else's ego, and really getting to the heart of like what was true of that experience, and what do I keep from that experience? What do I let go from that experience? Right? And how is that kind of changing things for you? And then after 50 is where you come off the roof and really embrace that role model. But that third line and the unconscious, right? Like that's always going to be around. So there's always going to be this need to almost kind of satisfy that itch that comes with the third line, just wanting to get your hands dirty in something, right? Like wanting to try something, do something. I love that the Ace of Swords came out with the Queen of Swords. How cool is this? Because first of all, the Queen of Swords is holding the Ace of Swords, right? They're relying on their truth. They're relying on truth in general. The Ace of Swords is, well, it's an ace, so it's a brand new beginning. It could be, again, like learning something new. It could be putting a new idea, thought, modality, whatever, into practice. This feels very, just like from the arm that we can see, it feels very, like, I don't even know what is the word, like triumphant or like exciting. It feels like there's a lot of adrenaline around it for some reason. That's a word that's coming to mind. I'm like trying to describe the feelings that I'm feeling. I'm I'm emotionally defined. So I'm trying to explain the feelings that are coming to mind with this card. But I think what is also really effing cool is we have this crown here. This is the king's crown, more so than it is the queen's. Although I'm like, here's the King of Swords. It doesn't even look like that. But the feeling that I was getting from it, though, is that there's this leveling up that's happening. And too, queens and kings, there's this level of authority that comes with both of them, right? So just the fact that this side of the Ace of Swords came out, especially with it coming out in the position that would land it under the Queen of Swords, like I feel like that means something. This could even be stepping into your power, like recognizing this power within yourself. Because on this side, it's nighttime for one, and there's an eagle flying. So if this, it's crazy that the side that came out is the side that has the crown on it. Not to mention, like crown chakra, there could be downloads being dropped in here. Like there could be some level of like higher consciousness that is helping you either, discover or even get clear on some aspect about yourself. And then we have the World card, which is the end of a cycle. Like the World is, you've gotten everything that you needed to get from this journey that you've been on, whether that is a journey of, self-acceptance, whatever journey it has been, though. There's the energy is available to close it out. And part of that is because there's something new. There's a new journey that's ready to be started. I think it's super rare. For one, like I said, it's not common for the World card to come out. I feel like I see it like not even once a series of readings, but it's especially rare for the World card and the Fool card to come out in the same reading, because it's literally boom, boom, right? Like we start at the Fool, we end at the World. And even though the World isn't ending, right, it is like closing out that cycle or that journey or that lesson. It's just opening the door for the next one to come in. And here that next one already is, which I think is so cool. And maybe it's something that you're already seeing in your life. It's probably something that you feel that already. And especially with it paired with the 10 of Swords. I mean, look at all these swords in this corner. Here, The World card paired with the 10 of Swords could just be this kind of double confirmation, because 10s are completion also. So we have two completion cards. We have the completion card with the mental completion card. the Ten of Swords is, I mean, truly, right? Like there's all these swords in this armor. We have no idea of knowing if there's somebody in this armor or not, which is kind of interesting because on this side, this figure is outside of the armor, observing it, right? There's this eclipse back here. But the side that came out for us, this almost even feels, this card specifically feels like it's underwater. I know it's just the coloring that they chose for the card, but it does feel like it's underwater to me. Water represents our emotions, right? So this, with the Ten of Swords, all these swords being in this person, it's clearly, like overthinking, even feeling overwhelmed or like bombarded by thoughts. There's not really any way of you putting 10 swords into yourself for the most part, right? So it's also believed that other people contributed to this. So, if there were other people in your life that made you feel a certain way, or like I said, when we were talking about ego and the swords, right? Like, where did other people imprint, a story onto you, or whatever the case may be. But fact of the matter is, it's a 10, it's done. I also love that we have the ace and the 10 next to each other and of the same suit, because I feel like even the odds of that are crazy. I don't know. I'm a 5-1 and I feel like my mind automatically goes to patterns like that. I don't know if that's because of the profile or what, but it does, because I'm like, that's crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Your whole reading has been crazy. Okay. We have the Knight of Wands, which is the first fire card that's out here. So that's, we have every suit. Actually, I mean, we have swords, earth, or, air, earth, fire, water, which is also cool. Another thing. But the Knight of Swords, what's interesting about it is that this card to me feels like feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Wands are about action. It's the motivation behind the actions that we take. It's creativity, passion. How are we communicating those things? I also see wands as being information, because that's what we get by doing things, as you know, right? Having that third line. You learn what works, you learn what doesn't. What do you like? What don't you like? What stays, what goes? And on this side, there's clearly a storm going on. It's nighttime. And they're still forging forward. So this could even be uncharted territory for you, and the uncertainty feels a bit scary. But again, right, like it does have this feeling of feeling the fear, doing it anyway, marching towards the storm, because it's not going to last. Storms don't last forever. On this side, though, it's blue skies, it's daytime. That flame is still going. It's also too, like, even just being led by your passion, being led by creativity, even allowing that, like, fire within you, whatever it is that's fueling that fire, to guide you also. And it is, temporary. It's not like, because even if let's just say it was rage or anger or something, right? It's a night. So it's not like that feeling or that motivation is going to be around forever. I will say that when I moved into my now ex-husband's house, I should have moved right back out, but I didn't. And I just remember, like, we got in this big argument, like, the first few days that I was there. And part of it was because I wasn't unpacked within like 2 days. And I was like, you're crazy. But I used rage, pure rage, to unpack all my stuff within like 4 hours. And it was gone, So that's what I mean. Like, it wasn't like I kind of carried that rage with me. But that if that's what got it done, I got it done. And it was also something to focus that energy into, like lifting heavy stuff, pushing, pulling, whatever, going up and down stairs, like that. Just, it was also something to expel and even transmute that energy. And then we have the 10 of Cups. And it's interesting, this side, the 10 of Cups, because, going back to even the word companion, right? There could be a partnership coming up here for you. The 10 of Cups talks about, it's the minor arcana card to the Sun card. So it's joy, it's bliss, it's, everything good, everybody feeling purposeful, everybody feeling fulfilled. There is this community aspect or family aspect to the 10 of Cups. So it could even just be finding your community, like finding or discovering whatever, meeting your soul family. It could be, of course, just, like meeting a romantic partner. Certainly, it could be that. Because, of course, on this side, it's nighttime and it's more on this side focused on you. This is also the fountain that comes from the Ace of Cups. But this is a side that came out. So even, these two paired together, the Knight of Wands is very adventurous too, playful, fun. And then the Fool card, a leap of faith, a new beginning. This side to me feels like it's something that you're coming up to. It's not necessarily something that's like happened yet, but it's the energy is available for you to make this decision. What's also so interesting is that, on this side, of course, it's nighttime. It looks like the sun is either coming up or going down. It depends on, I don't think it matters personally. There's this dog down here, which again, companion down here. But on this side, what is so interesting is that there's more, not necessarily a focus, but you can see this cup and this crown down here. And this side feels more like vulnerable. It feels more like they've shed a lot of stuff. They're letting go of a lot of stuff. There's only this little bag that they're bringing with them, so they're not even carrying a lot of baggage with them. But this side, right? The cup and the crown are still down there, but they're not as noticeable. You can't really see them that well yet. The focus is more on this lily and even this bag. Lilies lilies represent, or the white flower, I should say, and the Fool card represent purity, innocence, and even to this small bag up here, which, could be emotional baggage type of thing, right? Or just not taking much possession with you. And it's kind of like there's all this out here. It just feels like possibility, future forward, right? Because here it's kind of looking at the past, almost like looking at what's behind this figure, whereas in this depiction it's looking at what is in front of you. There's this shooting star, wishes coming true. We have the King of Swords. So even progressing from the Queen of Swords to the King of Swords. And too, look at the storm, the lightning, which is, there's lightning and a storm going on in the Knight of Wands too. But, the king is standing confident. The king is the highest expression of the suit. So it's definitely being clear in thought. It's taking calculated risk. It's relying on your knowledge and your intelligence. Like I said, there is this confident body language with them on this side. There's not a storm going on. There's more of an emphasis on this sword here. So for this one, it's like looking forward. And again, I'm just kind of getting this feeling of like, even if there is a storm, right? It's like, again, feeling the fear, doing it anyway, but it feels more like just uncertainty. And it's like that uncertainty might be creating the storm or the friction that is creating the lightning or something like that, What a journey. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.